I think on a like another side of that, like on a broader scale, as a creative, as somebody that's like putting things into the world, like you were saying earlier, Jed, like everybody needs to understand what their role as a citizen is, and that's going to look different for everybody. Like, not everybody's supposed to be on the front lines. Not everybody's supposed to be in government, you know. Not everybody's supposed to be like, you know, saying this and this and this is wrong, right? That needs to be called out, but we can't all have that role. And I think a lot of the time, our role as a creative is like just to add to the good that is in the world, and you know, and add to, you know, maybe we're not exactly addressing this exact political issue in this video, but it's just causing people to think about these little things in life that are affected by those things, you know, like yeah, I don't know, it's like just having the humility to understand what your role is as a creative, as well as understanding what your motivation is behind everything that you put into the world.
And talking about heavy-handedness too, I feel like a lot of movies, I was having this conversation with, I think, Jono and Mike or one of them, and it kind of, you guys touched on it in the first episode of the podcast about you know, being fatigued by these COVID like we're with you commercials. But this like underlying, especially in movies, there can be this preachiness that's just exhausting, and it's like you can't enjoy the movie. You don't want to be preached at. Like, preachiness in films specifically can be super out of place and not the right time, like exhausting, and it just doesn't fit. It doesn't work.
Yeah,
it's really hard too, because the exact medium of movies requires that you dance this line of exposition versus what will the viewer pick up on, or what will they get on their own.
Yeah.
And when you go through and start editing, especially a feature, things that you just knew from reading the script, or if you wrote the script especially, like you fill in all these gaps in your mind of what, you know, but the audience doesn't necessarily pick it up. So I can see why over time people are just getting more and more on the nose.
You're like, I just have to clarify this one.
Right, here it is. I'm saying this, right?
Yeah.
And so it's the real art of
it's like Avatar.
Great filmmaking, great storytelling is dancing that line appropriately and artistically.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like James Cameron was like, I kind of want to do an allegory to like American colonialization and the Native American. What if we did it in space, but they were still just Native Americans? Like, it was so, you know what I mean? And it's just the one thing that popped in my head, not like a statement on the message of the movie.
Great movie, by the way.
Yeah, that's a pretty decent example of still standing for something that you believe in, right? Or like, because as filmmakers, you can't compromise who you are. Every filmmaker has something that they're standing for. I feel like it's an important part of the craft.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's that balance that you're talking about, where it can't be too heavy-handed.
Well, I think that there's two ways to change someone's mind on something, and that's either by force, where they just don't have a choice, because you're literally just, it doesn't matter whether you agree or not, you're being forced to do something, or, you know, act in accordance with something, or you guide them along to a point where they make the realization on their own.
Yeah.
So I think that's the balance right there, is like, if you want someone to understand how you feel or view or think of something, you're never going to get them to that place when you start from a place of a combative posture. When you come to the table as an enemy, then you're never going to get anywhere. But if you come along as a partner or a friend or and you come to a place where you are just as much seeking to understand as you are to be understood, then you can kind of walk down that path together, and hopefully you actually both learn new things.
Yeah.
Right. And
Like,
to me, that's
subscribe,
good.
hit the bell, you know.
Right here, point like you say.
Yeah, slap
our-
that subscribe, smack
Crush
it,
that.
smash the subscribe.
Smash that